Hey fam, Master Coach G here, mind, body, soul. Thank you for joining us today, Thriving After 50. Listen, I have a special guest today. I am like so excited because we're friends and we're on the same page when it comes to our health and wellness. And it's such a pleasure to have her joining us because she does something a little bit different in the health industry, and I want her to be able to share that. And I also want her to be able to share all her information because I know that this is going to bless someone. And if you want to be able to get in touch with her and be able to get a part of her programs or whatever, I want you to be able to have access to that. So I have Coach Toni Robinson on the line with us today. Welcome, Coach. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you joining us here on Thriving After 50. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Coach G. And I want to say thank you for inviting me. I feel very honored and very blessed to have a great conversation and to let your listeners know that thriving after 50 is such a blessing. And you have blessed my life just from following you. And I hope that I can do the same for you.
You absolutely are. I tell you, you encourage me and inspire me. I mean, I go on Facebook. If I don't see nothing that you have online, I go and put your name in just so I can see what you're talking about for the day, girl. I'm serious. I got to find you and see what you're doing. I ain't kidding. I'm serious because you are such an inspiration to me, and you've been at this for a minute. So, hey, Coach, tell us a little about who you are and tell us about what you do.
Okay, so let's talk about Coach Toni Robinson. I
Yes.
am a speaker, I'm a coach, and I am a trainer in the personal development and personal growth industry. So I am not, I tell my clients all the time, if you're looking for someone to um, help you with a six pack, that's not my journey. I am more into, yeah, no, I don't do that. I'm more into the mindset piece of it because for
Mm-hmm.
me, and I don't know about you, but I had to change so many things about my mind and my personal growth. And as
It
you get
starts.
older, you
Yes.
have to learn how to grow as a person. And once I figured that part
Mm-hmm.
out, then that's when my journey of health and wellness and being a whole person, that's when it began.
Yes. And it all starts in the mind. It really does.
Yes, yes. So I'm more of I deal with
Yes.
mindset, and mindset to me is probably the most important part about our journey because as
Mm-hmm.
you see, a lot
It
of
is.
people, they want to do what we do, but they don't have the mindset. And for me, I don't like to waste my time if I can't
Mm-hmm.
create a environment for you where you understand that, then I don't really waste my time working with you. I just don't.
Yeah. And again, that's the most important thing. And anytime I start training with anyone or coaching anyone, I have to start with their mindset. That's where it really has to start. It
Exactly.
has to start with their mindset.
Exactly. And then
Yes.
that way
Absolutely has to start with their mind.
that way they know that they'll see, because if the mindset is right, then you'll see the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's what people don't know. They always say, I'm not motivated. And I always tell my clients, let me tell you what motivates you quicker than anything else and any other person, even yourself on the planet, is results.
Is
Results will motivate you real quick, honey.
Oh my goodness.
You
Preach.
know,
You're
you
preaching
you
to the
you walk
choir
past
on that one.
okay, girl, listen, you walk past that mirror and you see how good you look. Believe me, you're gonna hit the gym the next morning. I promise you that.
Amen.
Promise you that.
Amen.
Yes, ma'am. So tell us how you got started on your health journey. Tell us about that,
Okay,
Coach.
so it started for me. I started in the gym in 2003 first. And what happened was I got laid off from my job, a job that I loved, and I didn't want to be one of those depressed, sad people. So I said, what could I do? Because I wasn't, you know how some people, as when they're younger, they're athletes or they're, you know,
Hmm.
I that wasn't my story. So I started out in
Mm.
2003 just taking a cycle class and just kind of digging
Oh,
it.
okay.
And as I did that, I was like, well, I really like this. I wasn't really overweight. I wasn't like, I've been overweight because, of course, I'm a woman, but, I never had a problem with weight like that. So what I did is in 2003, I just started kind of going to the gym.
Mhm.
And then as I got older, I kind of noticed that I did start picking up weight. Now, remember, I'm going to the
Mhm.
gym. So I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Well, of course, what happened was menopause. And as far as once menopause hit, because I was in
Yes.
my 20s and
Yes.
30s. I had kids in my 30s, and then I didn't really gain a whole lot of weight with them, and I never ate bad. So for me, like, I like vegetables. I like um, you know, fruits and stuff like that. So I wasn't a
Mhm.
person that really ate bad. So I was like, okay, but menopause hit, and then even though I was at the gym, I was still picking up weight. So I started investing because I'm one of those people, I like to invest. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
hired a trainer, and I did all of these amazing things, and
Yes.
it would work for a period of time. And then after that, I still wouldn't see the results that I felt like, because of all that I did, that I should see, if that makes sense. So, um, I, I started
Mhm.
doing more watching what I ate. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know, I started this vegan thing, and I'm not a real, I like meat. And so I was like, okay, this isn't going to last very long. So it frustrated me more than anything. I was like, okay, no. And so I did that for a while, and then I was probably maybe in my and that and I'll remind you that I'm still the cardio queen. So when I was in the gym, that was the piece that I was probably missing, was more of the focusing on the strength
Mm.
training. And I was doing too much cardio. And so, and because
Cardio.
I would go in the gym and do stuff,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I would
Okay.
run. I was in a running
Yeah.
club. We would run like we would do like 10 miles. I mean, just ridiculous.
Mm.
And so probably
Wow.
when I turned
Mm.
58, I think it was, I was turning 58, and my weight had fluctuated, and I still just wasn't happy. So my mom was laughing at me. She said, "Ooh, you getting them big hips like me?" Or, that was death to me, cuz I was like, "No, that doesn't work for me." And so what I did, I started researching, and I have everybody laughing. I had an iPhone 5. Okay, so that was an old phone, because I had it a long
Mhm.
time. And I took that iPhone 5 and became my best self, because I did, with that
Mhm.
iPhone, I researched. So what I did is I started researching, and I came across
Yes. Yes. Yes.
keto, and I came across fasting. And for me, it was the game changer. It just, because I don't know about
Mhm. Mhm.
you, coach, but I like to eat.
Mm.
And I don't want, I refuse. Oh my God. And for me, I'm black. I'm a black
Just be
woman,
real. Just be
and my
real.
mama's a black woman, and she likes to cook, and so I'm like, okay, so I don't want to be one of those
Yes.
women that as you get older, you gotta
Yes.
eat, like, watch your calories, and that just didn't work for me, and I already worked out a lot. So when I discovered low, and I'll say more low carb, I do more keto, because keto is within a certain amount of carbs. So, but it just works for
Mhm.
me. Now, I tell people all the time, you do what works for you. But I
Yeah.
noticed that When I
Mhm.
keep my carbs under maybe 30% of
Yes.
my about 30, it and it can be a little bit less or it can be more. It just depends on what I have going on. My weight, it stabilizes. And once I started maybe at 59, I think, and I decided, I said, okay, because I wanted to look
Mm.
good in my 60s. So I took that bit of knowledge and then I added what's called biohacking. And
Right.
I'm what's called a biohacker. And a biohacker is somebody that uses science and technology to
Mhm.
become
Mm.
their best self. So as my research went up, my m- everything for me changed because what I did is I just updated my toolbox. That's all I did. I did a lot of the same things, but I added more tools to my
Yes.
toolbox. So I added
Yes.
more, I prioritized sleep. I started fasting. Now, fasting to
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
if I had to say what was the best thing I ever did besides keto, keto only allows me to and eat and enjoy my food and not worry about, oh well, I gotta watch my calories and stuff because I'm not a calorie counter. But fasting has been my saving grace. I love
Mhm.
fasting more than anything because
Right.
when I fast, I'm on a fast now. And the reason why I love fasting is because, again, God created us and He created us to know what our body needs, right? But we mess it up. So when I started fasting, it allowed my body
Yes.
to do what
Yes.
it needed to do, and that
Mhm.
was rest from eating. And as I started fasting, I was
Mhm.
like, wow.
Yes.
And then when I
Yes.
started doing a lot of the
Yes. Yes.
research, I was like,
Yes.
okay, so I'm not hungry. That's crazy because we think, okay, if you go without eating, you're hungry. No, because again, the body's smart. And I had body fat on me, so my body was
Mhm.
getting nourished from the inside from fasting. So it was just an incredible, to me, I think as I went and learned how to really tap into what the body needs, it has just been, again, the game changer. And like I said, I still did a lot of the other things, but I also,
Yes.
so
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little more about your fasting because I know that that's something that you are
oh yeah, and
that you're
that,
really into. And you know, and I fast for a different reason. Like I'll like if there's something that I wanna you know, like petition God for, then I'll like, you know, I'll fast only like for a certain time of the day. Like I like in the mornings, like I may
okay,
not eat or drink
so
anything
how
until like, you know, three
fasting
or four
works,
o'clock in
there's
the afternoon
usually
or
two
whatever.
types of
But I know
fast
that you have a
that
different
people
style.
who
So
are
why don't you
fasters
share,
do, and there's
you know,
one
how
that's an
that works?
intermittent fast, and then there's one that's an a extended fast. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
on like what's called, I'm doing an extended fast right now.
Mm-hmm.
And an extended fast is anything past like 20 to
Mm-hmm.
24 hours on up. And the reason why I
Okay.
do that is because I like to have control over what's going on the inside, if that makes sense. It's not so much because weight, it does stabilize your weight, but I think that anybody should be able to do an
Mm-hmm.
extended fast
Mm-hmm.
once a year. Me and my son, we do a 5 day. Once a year at after
Yes.
Christmas, we do a 5 day. And it helps spiritually, yes, because it puts you in a mindset of, okay, how do I get closer to God?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
it you're not focusing on, okay, what I
Mm-hmm.
gotta eat. it's really good for you in that. But a lot of people
Yes.
intermittent fast, and that's a good practice for anyone
Right.
if you're starting out. So what an intermittent fast is, it's like instead of, because if you notice in the morning when you get up, a lot of times you're not hungry. And instead of eating breakfast, what I suggest to people is push your eating time
Right.
to later on during the day. So, like, say for instance, like maybe about 1 or 2 o'clock, where it's if you slept all night, you fasted, right? Because you fast when you sleep
Mhm.
anyway. And then you add a couple of
Mhm.
hours onto that, like I said, it's a game changer,
Right.
especially if you want to stabilize your
Yes.
weight.
Yes.
Because if you're anyone who have needed to lose weight,
Mhm.
and you need that weight to stay off, because here's the thing, and I don't know if this
Mhm.
is your story, but it was mine. I would lose weight, but then I would yo-yo. And that yo-yo would, because again, I do all of this stuff. I'm in the gym. I'm like, okay, why am I yo-yoing so much? And so
Yes.
what
Yes.
fasting does is I take the snacks out, and then I eat maybe 2 meals a
Mm.
day, 2 good meals. But I don't snack, and I eat
Mhm.
like to where I'm comfortably full. I like,
Mhm.
a lot of time, a lot of
Mm.
women think, oh, well, you got to eat these bird plates, and that, no, that if my plate doesn't look almost like a man, I haven't ate enough. I mean, and because a lot of times women think that you got to eat I need to eat a little bit of salad and a little bit. No, I don't do that. I eat till I'm comfortably full, but I will eat that. And then I don't eat a lot of carbs. So my meals are like, I'll eat like and I'll say lunch. I'll eat like
Mhm.
maybe a nice big salad, but then I also eat, like, I like meat. I love, like, I'll eat a steak or something like that. And so by 2 o'clock, that's my first meal.
Mhm.
And I feel really good. And then I'll do a 2 o'clock, and then I'll maybe do a 6 o'clock, because I also do what's called a
Mhm. Mhm.
circadian rhythm
Yes.
as part of
Yes.
my biohacking, whereby probably by about 6:30, I'm done eating for the day.
Mhm.
So it really helps me control. So, like, and then it helps me sleep at night. So if I cut my
Yes.
window off
Yes.
at like
Yes.
6:30, and then I go to sleep by 9 o'clock, and then I sleep all night, and then I get up in the morning again.
Absolutely.
I'm not hungry, so I'm
Mhm.
not gonna go and get a
Mhm.
donut, and I don't do any of that. And when I did that, I probably was my thinnest. Probably it's been almost 6 years. It's been almost six. And when I tell you, I always grade myself in my
Wow.
life. Okay, well, what did you
Wow.
do
And you look
good, or what did you do
amazing. You look
bad? I give,
absolutely
man, I'm pretty
amazing.
fair. But as far as discovering this and feeling my best, I give
Mhm.
myself a
Mhm.
A plus.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, it's just
Yes.
that it to me it's been a game changer, because I don't have to sit and worry about my weight, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
those things, especially as you get older, you don't want to be. I'm sorry, I just don't want to be one of those old fat women. I just refuse that. I refuse. And so I do not. So I had to find what works for me, and I'll
I know that's
share
right.
this with you as
I
well.
know
My
that's right,
son,
girl. You and me
my
both. I
youngest
don't
son, he
either.
was considered obese. He was 250 pounds. And when I
Mhm.
first started researching this and trying to figure out this stuff, gave him a
Mm.
challenge. I said, all right, dude, I want you to think about doing this with me, because I started. in March of 2019, and then he started in July. And by July, A1C was normal.
Mhm.
And his A1C, because
Mhm.
he's a man, he was young. He was like 22. And so it's been almost 6 years for him as well. And he looks good. He feels
Mm.
good. And what
That's
I'm proud
awesome.
most of him is that he's a younger man. So he's got these
Wow.
lessons early. So this will help him as he gets older. And that's what
Mhm.
I told him. I said, see, as you get older and you know how to do this, you won't ever have, like, he never gained that weight back.
Yes. Yes.
He's never.
Mhm.
Yep. And he gets it. And he gets it. Exactly. And as we get older, we want to get better. And that's just
Because it's a
my
lifestyle now.
thing. I don't want, if
It,
I'm
it's
on,
a lifestyle
if
now.
the good
You know what
Lord
I'm
is
saying?
leaving me on this
Yes. Yes.
earth, I
Yes.
need to get better. I don't
Yep.
care how old I am. I need to
Mhm.
get better. So
Oh,
that's just my
absolutely.
thing. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Every single day. Yep. Every day we should strive for that. And you mentioned a couple things, and I want to point them out
Exactly.
because you mentioned
That's what
menopause,
it
and I did
is.
a podcast about
Especially
that
if
because I
you're a
think that
thinner woman
we need to
or if you
understand
never
that
had
sometimes we
weight
gain
and then
weight
you
and we're
start
not
gaining
we
weight
don't put
and
the
you're
two
like,
two
wait
and
a
two
minute,
together. We
what
don't
am I
connect the dots
doing?
as
Because
women.
you're assuming
We
that
don't
you're
know that
doing
it's menopause
something
that's causing us
wrong.
to gain
And
weight.
it may not
You know what I'm saying?
necessarily
Eh,
be that you're doing anything wrong. It's
Yes.
just how the body is struck because it's
Yes.
hormones.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Mm-mm. Yes, yes. And the other thing that I didn't understand, because I've been in the gym probably like for the last 10 years, and I would go I kept when I'll go to the doctor for my physical, and they kept telling me, it's like,
Hmm.
your cholesterol numbers are a little elevated. I'm like, well, that's almost impossible. I'm like, I go to at that time I was going to the gym 6 days a week. I was watching what I was eating. I never overate ever, ever, ever in my whole entire life. And so I couldn't understand it. So I just started researching. And that's another thing that you had mentioned. I
Exactly.
just started researching and researching and researching. I found out that and I had a hysterectomy, which is the same thing as going
No.
through menopause. But when I found out, because I didn't have the hormones that affected my cholesterol, it sends your cholesterol up a little bit. I
Right
wasn't
things.
aware of it, and the doctor wanted to
Exactly.
put me on medication because of
Exactly.
my numbers was a little elevated. And so I'm like, no, first of all, I'm not going to get on the medication. Let me do some research and find out why my number is elevated,
And
because
thank
I know I'm
goodness you
doing all the right
didn't.
things, and there's no reason for my elevated. You know what I'm saying? So I started researching. I found out it's because of it was a hormone issue. So, I wouldn't even get on the medication anyway, because I knew that. Yeah, yeah. So, but the thing is that I brought that to my podcast because
Exactly.
we need to
Don't just
know
listen.
why our bodies are going through
Don't,
different things.
and
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 the other thing that
I
I
always
did
laugh
a
because my
podcast on,
uncle,
which led me
my
to do it
dad's
because of
brother's
my
a
injury,
doctor.
is we need to
And
start
but
doing
one
more
thing he used
research.
to tell us
You know what I'm saying?
growing up when
We
we
need
were
to do more
little,
research.
and my grandmother was a maid and she educated a doctor. My uncle's a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. My aunties were all like college professors, professors. They were all these really smart people. And my uncle that was a doctor, one thing he always said was he was the type of doctor that although he believed in medicine, he also believed in a
Mm-hmm.
holistic approach as well. And when he said that, it really made me think, wow, this makes sense. So just is it, because everybody want to get on put you on medicine.
Absolutely.
Yep, and you just don't necessarily have to do that because, and again, your body is, God created us as a
Absolutely.
amazing.
That's
We
the
can
first thing they
heal
want
a
to do.
lot of the stuff ourselves, But a lot of the stuff we do is stuff. It's like me with a fast.
No.
People say, Tony, you could go 5 days without a fast. I said, on a fast, and I'm like, yeah, because
Yes,
you
ma'am.
don't be hungry. It's not when you're fasting. First of all, the body fat that I have on me, what happens when you fast is your body eats itself. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't
Yeah.
want you to eat some of this fat? Oh, who wouldn't want you to, instead of eating it you just eating it by mouth, it's coming off of your hip.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? Okay. So for me, like I said, it allows me to stabilize my weight. I'm not hungry. I'm good. And I still work out. You think people laugh
Yes.
because I tell them, okay,
Exactly.
I'm running, I'm
Exactly.
doing this and that on a
Exactly.
fast. Wait, what? You're fast? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You don't feel tired because again, your body will figure after the third day, especially on a long fast, after
Mm-hmm.
the third day, you're not hungry anymore because you have a hormone that's called
Mm-mm.
ghrelin. And once that ghrelin is gone, then your body's like, oh, because
Mm-hmm.
ghrelin, I believe it's ghrelin.
Yep.
I think it's the hormone that's the hunger hormone. Well, after you don't eat,
Yes.
then
Yes.
that hormone kind of it lays dormant, and then it's like, okay, so then I you don't have the feeling of hunger because once
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you're fasting, and your body is technically eating on itself, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to worry about being hungry because that you don't need that. And it has been, like I said, it was a game changer for and my son. And my son, he can do
Mm-hmm.
he had a hard job. He worked at Amazon 10
Right.
hours on his feet on a 36-hour, 48-hour fast. And and the people at his
Yeah.
job, when he first started losing weight, they were laughing at him. They were like, "Man, Joe, what is going on with you? And
Mm-hmm.
you've lost weight?" And he was laughing. He said, "Yeah, I listened
Mm.
to my mother." So we just, yeah, he did.
Okay. I know that's
And
right.
that is
I
where
know
I'm
that's
most
right.
proud because he's
Yep.
27.
But he
He
got the
started this
results. But the
journey
thing
at
is that he got the
22, and I
results.
told him
And
that.
that and that
And
and
I
that's the
said,
goal.
you
And
will
and it became
never
a
be
lifestyle for
one of,
him
because
now.
I
He will
tease
never
my
go back to that
sons,
old
and
lifestyle
I
ever.
tell him, and this is true, my oldest son, he's married. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want y'all to be
Yes.
these old men with problems. You can't have sex with your wife because you have prostate. I mean, I'm serious. I want y'all to have a healthy sexually, I mean everything as far as men, because men, they don't take care of themselves way sooner than us. I mean, we'll at
Yeah.
least try to
Yes.
halfway
Yes.
go to the
Yes.
doctor. Sometimes they don't do anything, and I just didn't want that for my sons. And like I said, for my youngest son, he was already obese. He was considered 250. That's
Yeah.
obese. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to let him go out like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel really blessed that he got the lesson. That's all I needed him to do, was get the lesson. And now
Mm-hmm.
he's
Mm-hmm.
killing it. He's dating, and
Yes.
cuz at
Yeah.
first he wouldn't
Yeah.
even, he felt so,
Yeah.
I mean, defeated, and he just didn't. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm his mama, and I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not letting my son. I said, no, you're too cute for that, Mom. You're just telling me that because I'm your son. I'm like, no, you cute. You're supposed to have a
He was
girl for me.
self-conscious.
So,
Yes. Yes. His confidence level.
oh my God, yes.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? And I think that the younger people get it,
See?
the healthier they'll be. Like my grandson, He was 14 when he started going to the gym with me. He just turned 21 on Sunday. He's been going to the gym since 14. This boy meal preps every week. He goes to the gym 6 days a week. I mean, and when I tell you he is buff, this boy used to look like a little runt. I mean, he was so
You
tiny
better
and so
come on.
small for his age, and he told me one day, he says, Mimi, I want to come to the gym with you. I'm like, listen, at that time I was at the gym at 4 a.m. I said, now listen, if you going with me, boo, you better
Wow.
be ready because you'll get left. You'll get left if you're not ready by 4 a.m. So he would
Yep.
get up in the morning, and I mean faithfully, and then he would come in, take a shower, and go straight to school. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
this boy has been on
Yep.
that since he was
That's what I
14, and
tell
he's
my
been
son.
very consistent with it. And I am so proud of him. That he picked up because he started it at a young age, and now it's a lifestyle for him. You will never see
Yeah.
him. He will never be overweight.
Yeah, we
And
can
so I'm
pass on
very
all that
very proud.
foolishness.
And I'm
Exactly.
passing that
So at
on.
least
He's
we
the
can
third
pass the
generation. It's
good
me,
stuff.
my daughter who goes to the gym. She
Exactly.
practically lives in the gym. And then it's my grandson. If we can pass on diabetes and high blood pressure from our bad lifestyles, how come we can't pass this on? You know what I mean? We need to be able to pass this on. Then and you mention stuff, and it's like, what I'm trying to convey to people. You talked about the research. You talked about the toolbox. I did a podcast on that. We talked
Exactly,
about the
because
sleep,
that's
and
like I
all those
said.
things are
What
so
what happened
important.
with me
And
was
the
I
thing
was
is that even when we
doing
work out, we hit
everything
this
I
like
thought that
invisible
was
wall.
right, and
So
I was
that's the
like,
reason why we
"How
got to
am
have a
I? This
toolbox, because we
isn't
got to be able to
working."
go in the
Well,
toolbox and get
because
out
I
the
needed
toolbox
to
things that we
change.
need
I
to be able
needed
to
to
get
be
to that
more
next level.
strategic in my approach. And
And
again,
that's growth.
the personal development coach in me always says you got to get better. So, and we have these phones. I tell
Mm-hmm.
people all the time, when we were growing up, we didn't have access to information this fast. We had to go to the library, and
Yes.
I said, y'all got phones and you could just look something up.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, yeah. And these kids
Yes.
got, yeah, and these kids got a phone, and you can just look something up in 5 minutes. So I'm like, see, I take advantage of
Nope.
stuff. So for me,
Girl, and
it's
look in the card
because I don't want to
index,
get.
and then go to the shelf and try to find the book.
Yep.
Girl, you and me both.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, let me tell you. I will get on the subject, and I sometimes I'll spend 10 hours just researching one subject. 10 hours.
Oh my God.
Because I need to know
It
as
is
much about
so,
that
and it's
subject
so
as I possibly can,
disheartening
and I will go
because you see
from one
people
website to
and
another
you're like,
website, because
they
I
don't
need
even
that
get
knowledge.
it.
I need to
And
be
I
able to
don't,
get the
and, you know,
knowledge
and
and be
I'm
able to
not one
apply
of
the
these, I
knowledge so
don't
that I can become
overly
better.
try to
Because
preach what
it
I
don't do
do.
us any good
I
to
can
just get the
show,
information
because
if we're
my
not
thing is,
applying
I
it.
can show you better than I could tell you. And then you take it from there. My son, he watched me, and then like your grandson, he was like, I want to go to the gym with you. See, we're just showing them. I'm not doing, and then we're not doing
Better
anything
than I can
that
tell you. That's
you can
right.
do the same
Yep.
thing.
Right. Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's all.
Oh, you walked it up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, you
Yep.
do.
Yep. Yep. And and even when I started going to the gym, I was obese. I mean, I weighed. Well, actually, let me take that back. I didn't start going to
Wow.
the gym. By the
I
time I
think
got to
I
the gym, I had
remember,
lost the weight, but I was
when I
237 pounds.
met
But I
you
walked the weight
and you
off.
was this
You know.
tiny
But
person,
you
and
have
I
to do
think you had
something.
told me that, and I
Yeah,
think
you
I
got
was
to
in
do
the club
something.
and
You
I
can't
thought I
just
was
stay in that
drunk. I
place.
was like,
So I
you
just started
can
walking, and I walked off 117 pounds. So when
I
people
said,
say,
maybe I
"Well,
was
I,
drunk
I
with
don't
that
want to go to,"
little bitty thing. I think
yes.
she said, and I don't even drink like that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, was I drunk? Cause I think she said, and
Yep.
I remember that. And you a little tiny thing. And I said, what? So, no.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Amen.
So, people don't have to have,
Amen. And I,
like all this equipment and all this stuff. You know what? Just do
yep.
something. I tell people, let me tell you something. If you want to start the habit of walking, walk outside your door and walk 15 minutes in any direction and then come back. You just walk 30 minutes.
Yep, and that is
How simple is
something
that?
that you can
Anybody can do
look.
that. So you start there.
All you need is
Just
some
start
tennis.
there.
What?
I'm
Some
not saying you got to
sneakers.
walk an hour or 2 hours.
That's
I'm
it.
just saying walk outside your door, walk 15 minutes in any direction and come back. And if you do that 5 days a week, I can guarantee you that you're going to see some results. You're going to see results. Changing your. That's all. That's it. So yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. So let me ask you one other question. What type of challenges did you face?
Well, I can
First of all, I know
honestly
you got your
say,
mindset
and
right,
I'm
so I
still
know
going
that
through it, and
that was the
that's a
part that you
great
got over, and I
question.
know you did a lot of research and
My
all that.
mother,
But you went about it the right way because you had to
when
get your
maybe
mindset right
about
first. But
four
were there
years
any
ago,
challenges that
she
you
had gotten
faced when
sick,
you were going
and
through this
so I
process
moved
on
her
your
in
journey?
with me. And my mother's an old black woman. Okay, what does that mean? I'm glad you asked. That means that they are not gonna eat what you eat. They're not going, and so the frustration, and I deal with this now. Like
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday, she wants something sweet to eat, and and my son lives with me. And see me, I'm more I, I I'm
Nope.
okay with not eating the stuff that she eats, right? But because she's not gonna do what I do, she's just not. She's in her 80s. She's not gonna do that. Um,
Mm.
but my son, she'll say, "Oh, I baked some cookies." Now, again, he started out obese, so I really have to, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and this is
No.
something that
Nope.
we
Nope.
all have to
Yep.
be mindful of, and that is who you were is gonna always want to come back. So, like that fluffy Tony, she's still around. And all I need to do is go and eat a couple of meals that my mom have, and then that fluffy Tony is gonna come back. And I love her to death,
Oh
but
yeah.
I don't want her back. I
Mm-hmm.
keep telling her, you gotta slow your roll, sister, because I'm human like anybody else. And it sounds good in theory, that I say, oh, I fast and I do this, but you know what? I also live in the real
Mm-hmm.
world. So I'm a grandmother,
Exactly.
and not everybody around me do what I
Mm-hmm.
do. So when you go to a family function, and maybe you have this thing, when you go to a family function, or it's the holidays, and
Mm-hmm.
well, you don't want
Yes.
to do
Yes.
this, and you're not eating
Mm-hmm.
this, and I'm like, no. Or it's like, why do I have?
Right.
Because for me, I feel like I should be able to just do it and not explain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's the part that frustrates me. I just want to live my life. And because we've been so enamored in our whole life, like, okay, Sunday, like, you'll go to some church functions and
Right.
they got stuff,
Right.
you're like, oh, I really can't eat this.
Yeah.
Fluffy
Yeah.
Tony will be happy, but no, I'm not doing this. So it's a challenge just trying
Mm-hmm.
to maintain it. I'll say that. But it's been almost 6 years, so I guess I've gotten the lessons, but everyday life comes in. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
started this before
Yes.
COVID.
Yeah.
I had lost a whole lot of weight, and then COVID hit, and I had gained like maybe
Yes.
20 pounds of it back. And so that was kind of scary because it was COVID and I wasn't as active as I normally would be. So I've, and then, it's just like I always tell people, it's life. Life starts life, and then that life be life, and so that can that can derail a lot of the hard work that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always, to me, that's my biggest challenge, just trying to do
Life
what
be
I
life
need
and
to do with
life be life.
everybody in my ear
Yep.
telling me, or they'll
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, you look good, I'm like, okay, but I need to have my health. It's not always about looking good either. So that's
Yeah. Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. No, that's just a byproduct. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell people. It's like my most important thing is my health, but because I look the way I look, that's just a byproduct of what I'm doing to stay
Hmm.
healthy. That's all that is. You know. And
Oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah, I got
understand what you're saying about explaining because
you. I love
my
fish.
husband
Hmm.
hasn't had any meat in it's been over a year. He's not a vegan or vegetarian. He just decided he was just not going to eat meat.
Explain
He'll eat
exactly,
like fish, and he
and you
doesn't even eat
shouldn't
chicken
have
or
to.
turkey or any of that. But he'll eat
Exactly,
some fish every
you
now and
shouldn't
again. But
have to.
he doesn't like to go to cookouts because people say,
Yep,
"Oh, well,
that's
you're
my
not
thing.
eating
I
nothing,"
always
so he
say
don't want to have to explain to people why.
life is
It's like,
like,
"Well, I don't
look,
eat meat." "Oh, you a
everybody got to
vegan?"
do them.
"No."
Do what
"Are you a
makes you happy.
vegetarian?" "No."
Whatever you
"Well, why
want
you
to
don't
do,
eat
you
meat?"
do that.
Exactly. Right. It's like, okay, so you don't eat meat, okay? Right. And that's the whole thing. Yep. Yes.
Exactly. Especially a
Yes.
cookout. Yeah, but they
Yep.
barbecuing and you
Yep.
like, you're
That's
not
exactly
eating.
right. So when you
It,
said that, it was
and
like,
that
okay, yeah, that's my
again,
husband because
it's
he just don't.
very
He's like, no, because we've been
troubling
invited to several
that
cookouts this
people
past
would
summer. He's
even
like, no, honey, I don't want to go because I
care.
don't want people
I mean,
asking me why
do
I'm not eating nothing.
you?
So
I
I
mean, I
just,
don't care
because how
what
many
people
times have you been
do.
to a cookout and you've seen
Whatever
people with
you do,
salad?
you
I'm
do
serious.
whatever makes
You
you happy.
know?
Girl, no, I'm gonna eat mine. You eat yours. Exactly. 100.
Hmm.
Of
Exactly.
course.
Right. I'm not in your plate. Right. I'm not all in your plate, so it's all good.
Okay, that'll work.
Hey, Tony, I tell you what, this has been so enlightening and I really appreciate it. And what I would like to do is
Okay.
I want to be able to leave your information in the
Oh yeah.
chat once the podcast has been gone live, because I think that you have so much information on the
Right,
fasting
right.
that, and I know a lot of people would love to be able to get more information about that. And here's the thing, that's just not my thing. I don't do that, but however,
Exactly.
I want to be
My
able to
my approach and
offer
my
people,
strategy
even though
gets
I
me
don't
to
do
the
it, it doesn't
same
mean that it
results
might
as
not be
you
right for
do. We
somebody else.
just
You
we
know what I'm
just
saying?
have a
So
different,
that's why I wanted
and
you to come
it's
on the show,
all
because you're
good
doing
cuz
something
I
different
tell
than
you
me.
what,
We're still
if
in the same
whatever
industry, but
works.
you're just doing something a little different than me. But I think that it still should be something that should be offered by people. You know? Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
No, we're
And so
not
that's why I wanted you to
competing.
come on the show. And
Uh-uh.
somebody had asked me,
No,
I was telling
ma'am.
them that I was going to have you on there and was
I
sharing with them,
know.
how long we've known each other and what you do and things of
Because if
that
I
nature.
was,
And
because if
so
I
they
was, because
looked at me and they
again,
said, well, why
and
would
you
you
heard what
have
I
your
said.
competitor on your
If
show? I'm
you
like, we
looking
ain't
for a
competing.
six pack, I ain't
We
that
do something
person.
completely different.
No, that's
But
not me. I don't.
why wouldn't I have her on
I
my
need to
show
strength
so that
train,
people can get the
and I'm
information,
still
something that's going to
fussing and
help them?
complaining about it. So that's you. And I know I'd be a whole lot finer if I listened to you too.
I
Mhm.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
To get to where.
And I'm gonna and that's why I wanted you to come on the show, because you offer something that is
Man,
completely different than because I'm not for everybody, and I know this. But the thing is that if there's something out here that may be able to help people to reach their goal, then hey, I'm all for it. And it don't have to be through me; it can be through somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But to be that selfish to sit back here and not give people something that will help them, to me is just selfish, and I would never be that way. But listen, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day coming on to Thriving After 50. And I want you to, if you have any closing remarks or anything that you would like to leave with people, please feel free to, you got the floor right now.
okay. Well, I want to just say, first of all, again, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to come on and share with you my journey. It's not anything that I think is difficult. I think that everybody can do it. It's not
Yes.
a it's a lifestyle, yes, but it has saved my life, and I appreciate that I have been able to do it. Now, if I look over my life and I say, what is some of the good things that I've done or some of the bad things I've done? Let's how to fast, learning how to become more into my personal development and my mindset, because it can be hard sometimes. It's a
Nope.
you got to do and it's easy. No, it's a
Absolutely.
process, but has it mother. I have a black mother that likes peanut butter cookies and who lives with me. But I but I just learned to fight the battles that I can, and the battles that I can't, I don't worry about those. But I will say this, and I say this especially if your audience is a lot of women. The one thing I want y'all to start doing, if you don't do anything else and if you don't listen to anything else I've
Yes.
said, is start putting
Absolutely.
yourselves first.
That's right. Yep.
They
Yep.
need you
I
to
mean,
be
even
your
when you get on the
best self.
airplane, they tell you to put
They
your mask
do.
on before you assist someone else. So that right there lets you know that you don't want to give people what's left over. You want to give people the best of you. So if we put ourselves first and take care of ourselves, yes.
Oh my God. It is oh,
Mhm. Mhm.
younger than us who are, not able to even live. I mean, 65, you guys, listen.
Yeah.
Does, because so many people didn't get it. So for me, I just want to say, just take care of yourself and put yourself in a position that you know that you could be
Yes.
successful. Like
That's right.
Coach says,
That's right.
get out
That's
there
right.
and
That's
walk. That's
right.
free. Get your
Absolutely.
sneakers and walk.
Listen,
Do
Coach,
something.
I really appreciate you
Do
coming
something.
by and sharing your journey, and especially about the fasting. I think that is just like, just
Okay.
something that people need to hear, because I know that a lot of people don't know, especially about keto and all. And I don't. That's not my area of expertise, and I
Oh
don't
yeah.
even try to pretend that I know. I say, but I tell people I know somebody I can refer you to, though, because that's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I will definitely put your information in the chat so that people
There
will
you
be able.
go. There you go.
Yes. Yes. And I will make sure that I post all that information, Coach, so that they can get in contact with you. And again, I appreciate you stopping by, sharing your story, and your journey with us. And it's a remarkable story. And let me just say, honey, for 65 girl, you got it going on. Okay. I just want to let you know you got it going on. Okay. Keep on playing if you want to. Okay. Exactly. That's exactly what we ain't gonna do, honey. I'm trying to tell you. But again, thanks so much for joining us here on Thriving After 50. Listen, that's what we have for you today. I hope this episode has added value to your life. Thank you for joining myself and Coach Toni here on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. But before I get out of here, I got to give a shout out to my listeners here in the United States, Canada, Australia, Russia Federation, Mexico, Belgium, Ireland, South Africa, Brazil, Nigeria, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Bangladesh, Ukraine, Kuwait, India, Hong Kong, and I just picked up the Dominican Republic. My audience is growing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the channel. Share this podcast with someone who it will definitely be a blessing to. And I thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe so that when I drop a new episode, you'll be one of the first ones to get it. Please follow me, write a review, and make sure you share this with someone. I appreciate you. And remember, knowledge applied is power. This is Master Coach G, and I'll see you on the next level.